So before we get started, he's usually in shorts, but just because of the video, he brought these beautiful shoes. Those are nice. Where'd you get those?
Well, they're from, have you guys heard of Salvation Army?
I thought they were like Chinese market, like Sunday market.
Well, it wasn't even the real Salvation Army. It was the Chinese version of Salvation Army.
So welcome to this week's 10-minute training. I have here Wynn from Sunh Fish. He's a local purveyor of fishes. You basically hit the majority of the Sacramento restaurants, correct?
We do, yeah. We hit almost we run the gamut of every type of restaurant. I mean, we're talking high-end, talking chains, everywhere. I mean,
he has a huge freezer. So what we're going to do today is actually talk about the highest selling taco, or actually dish on our whole menu, which is the fish taco. It was huge in Roseville, and it's now taken over Midtown. This thing probably sells up to 100 a day. Do you like those kind of numbers?
I love those kind of numbers. I've got a huge payroll.
So he has a lot of kids just like Ernie, so you guys can relate. So why don't you talk about the fish that we use for this dish?
So basically the fish that you use is called swai. It's a wonderful farmed white fish, mostly from Asia is where they get it from.
Which we call it here basa.
Basa or swai. And what you have here is a fish that's very delicate, but it stays together well. It has a nice mild flavor, so it takes on any of the flavors that you cook it with. So I've even seen this fish used on a plate that was $30 a plate.
No way.
I mean, you can use it for fish tacos.
So I can bump the price.
No, because your prices are already pretty level with what you're charging.
How about we do fry it for our fish taco, like I was talking about. What do you think about that? The batter and how it keeps it nice and flaky and fresh.
You know what I like about the way you guys do the batter is that you have this nice crunchy batter, and when you bite in, you really see the fish come out.
Yeah, perfect. So what we basically do is we'll take the piece. This is a whole fillet. Now this is a flatfish, correct?
It is a flatfish.
It's a flatfish, so it eats off the bottom of where it grows. So if you can imagine, this would be its tail. This would be one side of the fish, and then this would be the other. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what we basically do is we just cut it into about a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch cut, and then this batter is very, very simple. We take some flour, a little bit of what's this called? This is your panko crumbs. He's not even Japanese, but they're his.
Yeah, they're mine.
Dos Equis amber, and then a little bit of baking powder. What the baking powder will do is it kind of activates with the beer, and it creates a nice fluffy batter. A little bit of salt, obviously, and then just some eggs, just to kind of combine everything and make sure that the batter sticks. We're just gonna make sure that we coat it very nicely, and you can see that egg is really helping to bind it onto that fish. See how it's not dripping off? And then this is one of the really important things. You got to kind of let it sit there for a little bit and make sure that it doesn't float off. And then I'm just going to let it drop. And you can already see that baking powder is starting to react with that beer, and that's what's creating that nice crispy batter already. I can see it happening. So while we're waiting for that, why don't you go ahead and talk to us a little bit about what fresh means. What does wild mean? What is frozen? What's the difference? Can they be the one and the same thing? That type of deal.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about probably the fish that gets the most misconception about being fresh, wild, farmed.
Yeah.
A salmon is probably one of the most consumed seafoods.
Right.
A salmon is probably one of the most consumed seafoods in the world, besides, say, shrimp and cod. But what we have here is we have a fresh sushi grade farm salmon from Canada.
So if you were to go to a sushi house, they would be cutting this
same
fish.
Salmon. 95% of the time, this is the exact same salmon you get at a sushi bar. It's sushi grade, farmed in Canada.
This is getting a little heavy. Can I put it down?
No.
Oh, okay, thanks.
No, I'm kidding. But a fish can be farmed and it can be fresh at the same time.
Okay.
A lot of times what you'll get, and we get this at our retail counter too at the shop, people will walk up and they'll say, hey, can I get a piece of that fresh salmon? And we'll say, which one would you like? And their misconception is they think only a wild fish can be fresh.
Right.
But our definition of fresh means it's something that hasn't been frozen and it's of the best quality.
Right. And this. So when you're talking about farmed versus wild, what is the differences there?
Well, you got two great fish, but two different fish.
Right.
You know, wild works well, but it's in season for a very short amount of time.
Gotcha.
And I think farming all these years has had a bad connotation to it.
Yeah.
But every single farm in the world, seafood-wise, is moving towards a more sustainable way or a sustainable practice, because nobody wants to be that person that brings down the whole fish.
I hear you. So basically, when I kind of hear people talk about sustainability and farming, what would that mean?
Well, there's twofold. I think the only way we can sustain the way we eat, let's say, here's a fact, there's 7 billion people in this world.
Yeah.
800 million people go with less food than they actually need to live off of.
Right.
So as the population grows, that number's only going to grow. So
Right.
how do we feed these people? You've
Yeah.
got to farm stuff. But the problem being, when you depend on wild and you ask for wild and that's the only thing you're looking for, you're paying a lot more.
Yep.
Number one for wild fish.
And Jimmy's part of the board. There's no way he likes
no
a
way
lot
he's
more.
paying more, number
No,
one.
absolutely not.
And number two, there's just not enough around of wild fish.
Yeah.
You're going to ask for wild fish when it's out of season. What you're getting is would you rather have a frozen piece of wild fish thawed out?
Right.
Or would you rather have a fresh piece of farm fish, like say the salmon?
Absolutely.
So you run into situations where you're going to have to pick and choose where you eat wild and where you eat farm.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, we're just letting that fish just hang out just a little bit more. Check out this clip from Anthony Bourdain, a killer show on where he saw a great fish taco.
How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
Fish taco. I hear they're
Fish
good
taco.
here.
Well, let's have some fish taco.
I've never had a real Mexican fish taco, believe it or not.
I came here to meet you, to have a few tacos with you. And I remember that my father used to take me here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Suddenly, I have a huge 25, 20 years flashback. When I was around 12, 13 years old, my father used to take me here on weekends. We travel from Tijuana here. We have some tacos and shrimp cocktail.
68 miles south of Tijuana, the road takes you to Ensenada, a busy commercial port, cruise ship destination, home of the famous fish taco. But the road takes Octavo, my new local friend, on an unplanned detour.
There's another thing about food. It can take you places in time. You can travel with taste.
No doubt about it. There seems to be kind of a consensus that this place serves a really damn good one.
I believe they're right. I mean, I believe it's true. Well, Marta has been here for about 26 years now. Fish taco became popular on the 50s. People of Ensenada, they started cooking it with a batter, made with beer and some spices.
What kind of fish?
Para el taco de pescado utilizo lo que es el tiburón.
Shark. Shark's a good idea. It's nice and meaty. So it just totally build your own. You get fish in a tortilla, and then you dress it yourself.
Some people use lettuce, but the traditional.
But traditionally using cabbage. You use the lime?
Yeah, for sure. Here's some salsa. It's called bandera because of the colors, red, white, and green.
Bandera, flag, right?
Flag. Cream. Yeah. Mayonnaise and cream.
All right.
Probably guacamole.
Yeah, whoa, what's that?
Chipotle. Cheers, man. This is a very tasty batter.
Wow, that's good. I feel embarrassed saying this, but this is unlike anything I've had before.
Good memories here. Good memories. The flavor can take me there 20 years back. It's quite a good feeling.
Great. So you're going to see a lot of similarities as to what you just saw in that video, how we dipped it in the batter and things. Really cool how they're using shark, which I thought was really cool. And then just one of my most favorite things really of a taco, and I think of everyone's, is all the different toppings that you can put on. Because really in a taco, I think it's just a perfect platform for texture, acidity, different flavors, and all kinds of different cool things going on. This one's super simple. Are you cool with simple?
I love simple.
I do too.
Best
So
way to eat.
we're gonna take a corn tortilla. That we're actually, and we'll do a video on this later on, but this guy is out of Sacramento, Mi Abuelita Tortillas. He's making a great tortilla, doesn't break, it does have a little bit of gluten in it. So if you ever happen to have gluten-free, Jimmy, can you look at me please? If you ever happen to get, if you ever get gluten-free diets, two things. One, we would have to griddle the fish, and two, we would have to do a 100% corn tortilla. Go ahead and get back on the shot. So what we're gonna do is just make sure we get a little bit of the aioli. Aioli just has a little bit of mayonnaise, chipotle, lime, salt, paprika. Real simple, right? Just gonna put a little bit here on the bottom of the tortilla. Nothing fancy because you're not gonna even see it. One piece of fish per taco. And then when we're building, we're always kind of looking for height. You know, I've never been a very tall person, so at least my dishes. Now our Zocalo repollo, it has a little bit of cabbage, green and purple, radish, Fresno chilies, which is just a red jalapeno. Has a little bit of jalapeno in there that you can find, and then cilantro. So we're going to take this and we're going to go nice and high with these. You didn't wash your hands, so you can't build these.
I never wash my hands.
And then this is pico de gallo. Everyone loves pico de gallo, right? I mean, super simple. Again, we've got red onion, tomato, cilantro, jalapeno, and then hit it with some lime juice and salt. These two things that you're going to really find on any fish taco down in Baja. We're going to finish it off with that aioli. Give it one quick slice of lime.
You told me I could slice the lime.
I did say you can slice lime. Go ahead.
I'm messing with you guys.
Oh, okay, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and, are you ready to eat or what?
I'm ready to eat,
All right, well,
yeah.
let's clean this up real quick.
always hungry.
Got to make it look good. I mean, you know,
it looks even better.
I mean, they don't get to see the chef every time, so they got to at least make sure the presentation's good. I'm gonna hit this with lime. You got to eat a taco with lime, right? Got to eat a taco with lime. This really the lime is gonna just boost up all the flavors that are happening right now in this taco. My friend, go ahead and grab.
All right. Thank you.
You do eat fish, right?
Just not my own fish, no.
Cheers to you, brother. Thanks for coming down. We always appreciate you as a friendship
Thank
and
you
what
for
you're doing
having
here in the community.
Thanks for paying my bills.